He said he'd be back, and by God he was back. Arnold Schwarzenegger's back in Terminator Genysis, and I have no idea why the critics hate this movie so much. It's actually pretty good. Alright, it's not the best Terminator ever. That title still goes to either the first movie or the sequel. And it's definitely not the worst. That title still goes to Salvation. This movie carries the torch of the Terminator series quite well, in all honesty. It's got rip-roaring action that's a pleasure to behold, and it's got an original premise that not only continues the established canon, but also adds some fresh, reboot-style blood to it. The premise being that after Skynet has seemingly been defeated, John sends his father into the past, only for Skynet to have one failsafe plan, which results in a divergence in the timeline, leading to an alternate timeline, where the T-1000 was sent back to 1987, and another Terminator was sent to kill Sarah Connor back when she was 7, only for an unknown Terminator, Schwarzenegger, to have been sent back to protect her. This premise alone is absolute genius. Again, it allows the movie to maintain the established canon, a la Doctor Who, while at the same time revitalizing it in the way a reboot could. Oh, and a fun fact, Matt Smith, Doctor Who, he plays Skynet, and his performance is just fantastic. Granted, he doesn't get enough screen time, which is understandable, but the few moments we do see him are a joy to behold, and the rest of the cast, Schwarzenegger included, all give pretty good performances, with one exception. The guy they got to play, John Connor, I just don't know why they chose him. It's just something about him. It's his performance. It's not as good as everyone else's, and it's his face. Just looking at him, you can't take him seriously as John Connor, the salvation for humanity. I just can't see him as the salvation for our species. Not only that, but the movie actually does things quite differently to other Terminator movies. There's a lot more dialogue from the Terminator himself to explain elements you'd see more in sophisticated science fiction movies, like arguably the original Star Trek movies. And the antagonist, this new human-machine hybrid Terminator, is wholly unique and beautifully brought to life. And there's even a subtle metaphor for, believe it or not, Schwarzenegger's constant aging, which leads to the conclusion that this is actually a thinking man's Terminator. It's a lot smarter than the previous films. Not only that, but the conclusion itself is actually different, and while the other Terminator movies all had kind of bittersweet endings, this one's ending is more hopeful and bright. But thankfully it's not saccharine sweet, and it's actually tolerable. Terminator Genysis is a damn good movie. It's rock solid. I reiterate. It's not the best Terminator ever, and it's definitely not the worst. If you want a good solid action movie that more than lives up to the expectations of its forebearers, Terminator Genysis is a dead set watch.